Okay, now that this page is published, I'm going to start to dress it up a little bit and hopefully also create a couple of other pages that will serve eventually as the My Interest page and My Favorite Song page. I'm going to go back to FileZilla just to see how I used the word week 01 here. I want to make sure that I know how I spelled everything, that I have no spaces. I don't have week space 01 or something else. A space would end up in percent signs appearing, percent sign 20, percent sign. We don't want that. We don't want to confuse the system. So whenever I do create the next week, will be called week 02 with no spaces, week 03 with no spaces. There will be index files within those, although more than likely though, since they're inside pages, they might be not called index. They might be called my interest or my favorite song, or we'll figure something out. So I'll go back to my notepad. And actually, I should have saved one of these pages as this, but I'll just make sure to copy this one again, copy the text from our example in HTML5. That is the text that's available through HTML5 basic template. I'll go back into Notepad, create a new document, file new, and paste that. And this will be my interests in title. I'll create yet another page, file new, and paste the code that I just copied and call it my favorite song. And just leave everything as it is. File, well, let me see the first one. That's my interest. I'll file save, and this will be actually in a new folder within the main folder that where I'm at, the main directory. I'll create this new folder, call it week 3, week 03 with no spaces. Go in there, actually no, I double click too fast. Week 3, double click to go in. And rather than index, I'll call this my interest, and I'll use camel case, it's capital I, and I'll save it as an HTML and save. My favorite song, I'll save this one as well in the same week 3 folder, and I'll call this one my fave song in camel case. You can call your files anything you want to, as long as you can find them, as long as they don't have spacing on them. If you want to use hyphens, you may, but just be careful on the characters that you use. I'll save this as an HTML page as well. Save. And if I reload this on my FileZilla, I can go into week 3 and see that those are already there. I'll go back to my main folder, my root folder, F. Rodriguez, and just stay there for a second. Just sit tight. Come back to Notepad, open up my index, and I said I was going to start to dress this up, so I could do a couple of things. I think I'm going to make the name bold, so I'll say strong before name, and then right after the colon, close that, and make sure that I'm spelling things correctly. I'll say strong and before the email address, and strong before major, and then close it right after the colon. Same thing with email address. I will deal with the mail to later. I think also that I want these to be a little bit tighter. See all the space that's going on back here. So rather than opening up a new paragraph for each one, I'll end each line with a break. and I guess I should just do BR. I'm of the old school that wants to do BR space slash. Either one of these is correct. And actually, no, the last one stays as a paragraph close. That way, these will be tighter, held tighter together. And while I'm thinking about it, I'll do the same thing with the more about me. I will replace the first paragraph with a break and save. Control S to save. Command S on your Apple. Okay, I have some coding errors in here. I'm going to make sure that that's open and closing wherever. And now that I see that, I guess this is a good time as any that when I upload these files, and let me do that right now. I'll go into week 3 in my FileZilla, and well, I don't have to go into it. I can just upload all the folder. Right click, upload into the root folder. My week 3 will appear, and that way when I go back I can reload this and see what's happening. And maybe I didn't hit save the last time. Let me make sure that I saved. File, save, it's already saved. I have breaks, paragraphs, etc. Oh, I see. I'm starting a new paragraph every time, and I don't have to since I did use a break line. So basically this paragraph is one long one with breaks, and I should do the same thing down here. The joys of live coding. File, save again. Now I can go into week 3. Hopefully you watched the video before starting to type. And actually I just need to upload this index file again. Double click it, it'll ask me if I want to overwrite, then I do. Then I can go back into my browser, reload, and then this is more of what I had in mind. I had my name in bold or strong type, email address, same thing, major. My photo will still go there, my bio will still go here. I have my assignments, my interests, my favorite song. Why don't I start to consider whether or not this page is valid HTML? I'm going to copy my address. I could type it as well, but I'll just copy it. And I do have a link on the lesson to visit the W3C markup validator. The validator should detect HTML. Let's click on address and paste, and I'll check. And I have an error somewhere. The character encoding was not declared. So I don't have, I guess since I'm using that one from the tutorial, this only has very straight. I don't have my my characters declared, and that's a no-no for HTML. Let's look for the code that's missing. Since this was a very basic example, they didn't bother to do that, but if you go into the HTML5 intro page, here they present the dog type declaration being simple, and then they have the character encoding declaration being very simple, and that's the one code that we need to copy. Meta character set is UTF-8. I'll copy that, go back into, oh, and they show you where it goes. It goes right after the head starts. So back in Notepad, I'll see where my head starts, just before the title. And I'll paste what I just copied. Since I have these other two files open, I'll go ahead and paste these in as well. And finally do the same thing on my third page. Paste right there. Make sure to save all these and file save. Finally, I can upload all of week 3 again. I'll just upload that folder, replace the folder that's already there, tell it to overwrite, click OK. Oh, and let's not forget about uploading the index file as well. Right click and upload. Since this is the file, notice the difference in bytes. There are different files. Click OK to replace, to overwrite. Since this is the one that's being checked, showing results with errors, etc., let's try to check that again. And now we have document checking completed. No errors or warnings to show. And one thing about this is that there's no true HTML5 validator just yet, but the W3C, or rather the W3.org validator is as close as we're going to get. And so if you get the green check here, document checking completed, etc., you can go into the assignment, look for this HTML5 logo code. It's basically just some raw text. You can double click until it's all selected and copy it, and then in your validated pages you can, at the bottom of the page, just as the body is about to finish, put in a couple of spaces and paste that code and save it. I'm just going to do it on one page for now, and that's on the index, so that when I upload it, tell it to overwrite it with the new code, including the HTML5 logo. I can go back to my browser and on my page reload, see all the work that I've done, and at the bottom there's going to be this HTML5 powered with semantics. And we'll probably do something a little bit fancier later, just make this look a little bit more in place. Right now it stands out since this is a very plain page, but we're still just working on it. I'm not going to bore you with typing my bio, etc. I will show you where I put my photo, and I'll have a bio ready to just copy and paste on top of this. Same thing with my interest. I'll come back with some stuff that I've already typed and copy and pasted, but we'll do that in the following videos.